Hey guys, Clay with CPAP My Way, CPAPmyway.com. Today I am here for me. This video is for me, and what I'm going to do is list out the top 10 things that my customers complain about with CPAP so that you guys can watch this video, you'll know how to solve it, you won't even have to call me. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I gotta say at the beginning though, please remember to like if you enjoy the content, subscribe for more information like this, and comment, those kind of things, whatever it is you're supposed to do on these videos. So as I said, it's going to be the top 10 issues that CPAP customers have. Sorry, I didn't want to come on too strong with the whole complaining to me thing. These are actually a lot of the questions I get in the comments here. So I wanted to compile a list and give you some quick understandings of how you might could remedy it at home without even having to call your local provider. Issue number one, mask leaks. Everybody has them from time to time, and it's probably the number one thing we hear from customers and in the comments of the videos. Everybody is going to have a leak here or a leak there. I'm going to tell you right off the rip that if you're having a leak 2 months into using CPAP therapy, it's time to change out the cushion. These cushions, whether they be fabric like this AirTouch F30i or silicone like this N30i, all wear out over time. So the first part that you decide you need to strap the mask a little bit tighter to account for a leak, you already missed the time that you should have changed out the seal. That's the number one resolution, change out the seal. If you're having mask leaks and this is like your first time on CPAP, that's also super common. Usually that means that your facial features are not really matching up with whatever mask was selected for you initially. Very, very common. Companies like CPAP My Way give you a 30-day guarantee. We'll work with you as many times as you need to get the right CPAP. Usually a little feedback as to where it's leaking and where you're having the issues to your provider is going to give them a really good understanding of what your second option should be. So for instance, if you're having leaks around the cheek, you may need to switch to maybe a nasal from a full face, just as an example. So make sure that if you're having leaks up front, you just communicate with your provider. You're probably going to be able to find a quick resolution to that. If you are a long-term user and you're experiencing leaks, you have not maintained your mask. The next thing I hear all the time is that I can't exhale or it's suffocating me. Usually, I'll just be honest, that's an issue between the ears. You just kind of got to get over it. I know it sounds terrible, but in my times where I've worn the CPAP machine, I don't have sleep apnea. Obviously, you guys know that. My wife uses a CPAP every night. We've both been through the process of getting used to it. I had to kind of sit down, watch TV, relax, watch a movie with the CPAP mask on so that I could just forget about the fact that this thing's on my face and it's blowing pressure into my airway. The machine is designed, especially like the ResMed here, with exhalation relief, which can be adjusted. Maybe yours needs to be adjusted up. I guess the one thing I should say, you're not going to suffocate. Just take that out of your mind completely. This machine's actually going to keep you breathing, right? That's what it's designed to do. Keep the airways open, keep you breathing. So actually what you're doing before you wear the CPAP is suffocating. When you're wearing the CPAP, you fall asleep, it splints the airway open. It just feels weird, and that's perfectly normal. On a valid note of I feel like I can't exhale or I'm suffocating, sometimes people will use a nasal pillow mask like this where all of the air is directed through those tiny little nostril holes. It is a little more difficult to exhale through that versus something like this Vitera over here where you've got all this extra volume to exhale into, right? And you can exhale through your mouth. So for some people, the change in mask can make all the difference on that. The larger the mask, the easier it is to exhale. And also just keep in mind you can adjust, like on this one it's the EPR, CPAP, it's C-Flex, ResFlex, I think on the Luna. You can adjust those exhalation relief settings up to a max of 3, which will give you a good bit of relief as you exhale. But I will reiterate, it just takes some getting used to in most cases. Issue number 3, dry mouth on CPAP. This one is also super, super common and usually very easy to remedy. The first thing I'm going to ask you when you call me and say I've got dry mouth is your mouth opening and are you using a nasal mask? So if you're using a nasal mask, for instance like this N30i here, and your mouth drops open while you sleep, the air goes in your nose, out your mouth, and it will dry you out like the Sahara Desert. In those cases, some people would recommend a chin strap. I don't. I hate chin straps. They just don't seem to work for our customers. I would recommend going to a full face option like this minimal contact full face, the AirTouch F30i, or maybe a Vitera. That's a more traditional style full face. Both of those allow you to inhale and exhale through your mouth or nose. So if your mouth drops open, you're getting the same humidified air from your CPAP. Other times, if you're already on a full face and you've got a dried out mouth, you probably need some adjustment on the CPAP humidity setting. So a lot of these come stock to the customer with a auto setting. That can be really great for people. It'll turn humidity up and down as it can, but sometimes you just got to crank it up. So you'll go into your humidity settings, increase it one tick at a time. Don't go crazy, or the next thing you know, you'll be talking about issue number 4. But you just need to adjust it up slightly. Try to compensate for it. If you've got a heated tube, adjust your heated tube temperature up just a little bit as you adjust the humidity up. Those 2 solutions typically remedy this problem. As alluded to, issue number 4 is water in the CPAP tube. This is a heated tube, but it's a very common issue. The humidifier on the side of the CPAP is adding in excess humidity because you've got a lot of air moving in and out, and it needs to have that extra humidity to keep you from drying out. It's a comfort feature. It's not really a therapy feature, but it is something that if you're not comfortable, you're probably not going to use the CPAP, so you got to take it into account. If you have turned your humidity up too high, you get that condensation. This happens all the time as the seasons change. Every fall, our phones get overloaded with people that say that there's water spraying in their face all night. That's because we've had our first cold front come through, people's houses have cooled down, and less humidity can travel from the CPAP to your tube because the air in your house just doesn't allow for it. A quick resolution is this heated tube. Most CPAPs these days, modern CPAPs, have the ability to add on a heated tube. I'll put some links to that in the description so you can find it for yourself. But what that will do is it'll regulate, it has these little coils that go down the entirety of it. It'll regulate the temperature from the start to the finish. That way you have that constant steady humidity and temperature and you don't get the condensation. It's literally raining inside your tube when you get that condensation. If you don't have a machine that can take a heated tube, you're gonna have to turn the humidity down a little bit. If you have a heated tube already and you're still getting condensation, turn your tube temperature up, and that will allow it to carry more moisture all the way through to you. Issue number 5. This is one that my wife complains about a lot. Lines on the face. She wakes up in the morning, she'll see like a strap line coming up this way or a mask line down on the cheek. Usually that is because, once again, you have not changed out your cushion. You're trying to take it too far and you've strapped the mask to your face to keep the seal because the cushion sucks. Usually I'm going to recommend loosening the straps. If loosening the straps causes leaks, you probably have let your cushion go too far. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is that if you didn't have mask lines when you first started, and you do now, that fresh cushion is probably going to make all the difference because your cushion went bad, you tightened it up, it got too tight on your face, and now you got lines all over the place. So I'm going to recommend changing out the cushion, loosening the straps, just that way you got a fresh seal and you don't have to tighten it near as much. Another resolution to that, or I guess to define the problem first, would be that people just have the wrong mask.
But thanks to CPAP, that's all in the past.
Is that a CPAP machine?
No, I'm a pilot.
You know, if you've got a mask that doesn't seal very well and you're tightening the crap out of it just to try to keep the seal all night, you might want to try something different because mask lines are usually due to over tightening. So I know we offer a 30-day guarantee on masks, so try something different with us. We'll send you, worst case scenario, you don't like the new mask, we'll send you your old mask for free. So that is an option. Issue number 6. This is a funny one for me, and I'll be honest, Caitlin complains of it every now and then, and I'll also be honest, and I'm not really sure that I know the resolution. I've asked doctors, I've asked people that use CPAP, I've experienced it one time myself, in fact. It's the bloating or swallowing air. You wake up in the morning, your stomach's distended, you feel like you just need to burp, right? There's just air stuck in your stomach. It means you're swallowing air while you're using the CPAP at night. Most doctors that I've talked to have explained that is that your pressure is too high. For people that are on auto CPAP, you know, the machine has adjusted up to the pressure it thinks it needs to be at. So I think in most of these scenarios, you've probably got to talk to your doctor about it. I think in a lot of scenarios where I've been a part of this issue, in any of the CPAP clinics I've been involved in, the doctor has recommended a reduction in pressure, or at least the top pressure of your auto range. I'm not telling you should do that. I'm just telling you what doctors tell me when I present this issue to them. So I don't have like a super formal resolution to that, but it is something that happens. And the only thing I've been told is that you're probably gonna need a little bit of a settings change. Number 7 is claustrophobia. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. You feel like you're in a box every time you put one of these masks on. And I think that, probably for a lot of people, that's a legitimate issue. If you're wearing a Vitera on your face and you feel claustrophobic, you do probably want to consider something a little more minimal, like maybe the N30i here. There are other options. So the main thing you probably want to do off the rip is downsize masks. See if something smaller or less on your face would work. But I will say on the contrary, something I've experienced that seems like completely opposite of what it should be is that people on a small mask like this feel claustrophobic because they can't breathe normally through their mouth. And switching to a larger mask where it's a more standard breathing through your mouth and nose, it kind of can be vice versa. If you've got a giant mask and you feel like this thing on your face is just suffocating, you switch to a smaller mask, give it a shot. If you're on a smaller mask and you're like, I can't go any smaller. I started with the smallest thing because I knew I was claustrophobic. Try the bigger mask. I know that seems counterintuitive, but I've seen it succeed with a lot of people. Issue number 8, mask noise bothering your bed partner. You're probably on an old mask. You're probably on one that has a really heavy exhalation port. And you're blasting like a pressure washer the person sleeping beside you. I've experienced that many times. Newer masks have really good diffusers, right? So you see on the front of this AirTouch F30i, your exhalation is diffused so much that you really can't even feel it out in front of your face at all. Your bed partner is not gonna feel it at all. If it's a complaint of your bed partner that they're hearing exhalation or that they're feeling exhalation, which sucks, I can tell you that for sure, you probably need to go a little more modern. Most of the modern masks diffuse it really, really well. It's very quiet and there's almost no exhalation draft. It's one thing I review in all the mask videos, so check out the rest of our channel and you'll find some masks that'll fit the bill for you. Issue number 9. This is something that I have had personal friends have an issue with, and that is that they wake up and the mask is literally off their head. Well, that happens, and I've seen people with even masks like this that are really strapped on there have that issue. And most people that are experiencing that issue are on a mask like this N30i here, where it's just so easy for it to slip off that a movement in bed or a pushing of your head or hair causes the mask to fall off in the middle of the night. For those people, if it continues past your first couple of weeks of using it, you may want to switch to something with a more traditional headgear that has a more stable fit. In that scenario, you'd literally have to work to get it off of your face. It happens pretty often with these masks like this one that are really easy to take on and off. It's a pro and a con, right? They're really easy to put on and off, but they're also very easy to knock off in the middle of the night. So for people that are experiencing a mask like this, I'd recommend to switch to something, maybe a traditional nasal, if you're on a nasal, but with 4 points of headgear, because a lot of people move around at night. And if you're moving around a lot, a mask like this can fall off pretty easily. Issue number 10. People that feel like they've been on CPAP, they're still waking up exhausted, and it's just not working for them. Very rarely is that the issue, to be honest with you. CPAP's kind of like a set it and forget it thing, and you can look on the data on the app or on the machine, and you can tell what your AHI is, right? So if your apnea-hypopnea index is under 5, that's the normal range. Not a doctor, but that's the range. If you feel like you're still exhausted and you are using your CPAP, your scores look good, everything's good, probably something else going on in your life. Maybe you got to cut back on the beers.
I just felt like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, got to do it.
It's a bad choice.
Something else is going on out there.
But when you're tired, you make bad choices.
Right.
You make bad dietary choices. And I think that has to apply to people with sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Where you're always exhausted. Like throughout the day, you're just sucking down coffee and trying to stay awake.
Yeah.
I'm not your doctor. I would actually probably tell you if you're having that issue and you're doing great on your CPAP, you probably need to go see the doctor. Have them review the report, make sure there's not like central apnea or something weird that should be addressed on like a doctor level, because there's probably something more to the story, right? CPAP doesn't solve everything, it solves sleep apnea. You're gonna be able to see on your report whether or not your sleep apnea is being solved, right? So we can know whether or not we've checked that box. Go back to the doctor, say, hey, yep, everything's going great on my CPAP. We checked the box of sleep apnea. What else could be the issue? So don't give up on CPAP just because you're tired after using CPAP. There may be something else going on, right? You don't want to cause or go back to an old problem just because you maybe need to get to problem number 2 on the list. So I would encourage you to stick with what your doctor's told you to do and go back to the doctor and maybe review the rest of your overall health and see what's going on. That is our top 10 issues that you guys report to me on a regular basis. I really hope that it helps you. And if you did get something from it, please hit the thumbs up. We really appreciate that. Comment with any other issues you think I might have missed. I'll do my best to get back to those, obviously. Share this with your friends and subscribe for more content like this.
Are you a snorer? Do you snore?
I do. I have a CPAP machine.
Dude, so do I.
Come on. CPAP team unite.
CPAP!
Love it.